Hey everyone, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and I'm standing outside my newest property purchase. This is a mixed use property that is very, very, very interesting. So I like this property. We actually tried to buy it a couple of months ago and that didn't work, but we did just buy it today. So it's commercial, it's residential, it's a garage. It's got all kinds of different things going for it. It's got a few additions. It's pretty unique. So I'm pretty excited to show it to you and talk about what we paid for it, how we bought it, and all of that great stuff. Of course, check out investformore.com for much more information on flips, rentals, being an agent, and all of that great stuff. And let's go take a look at the property now. Here it is in all of its amazing glory. You can see it has a 3-car garage back there. This is a residential rental part right here. And then over here is a commercial section. So from what I've heard, this used to be a grocery store a long time ago. Not a big grocery store, obviously, but just a little market. And so we have 3 different possibilities for renting this property. So I try not to get run over by a car. We could rent it all as one. We could split it up into 3 units. We could split it up into 2 units. There's a lot of different things. And as you can hear, we are on a very busy highway, which is always a good thing for commercial real estate. And this will actually be the 5th property I own on this highway in 3 different towns. So I won't spend too much time out here because it's so noisy, but you can kind of see just what the property looks like from the side. And then this lot, this extra parking right here, comes with it as well. It looks like someone might have left a sweet refrigerated type of thing over there for us too. And then back this way, we've got the back of the property, the garage, and the back of the house right here. So we'll look at the garage here real quick, and then we'll go inside. We'll show you the house, we'll show you the commercial section, and we'll talk about the numbers too, what we paid for it, how we got the deal, and what our plans are for it too. The garage looks pretty rough from the outside. It doesn't really have a door that I just walked through, but on the inside, it's really not bad. And it's got nice newer garage doors. They still left us some stuff in here. This was an MLS deal. It was on the market, as you might have noticed from the giant real estate signs out front. And usually, people are supposed to take all of their stuff out on an MLS deal. But for a lot of the properties I buy, which aren't that nice, we're used to them leaving stuff, and that is okay. And one nice thing this has too is a pit to work on your cars and stuff. So, technically we could rent out this garage separate. We could rent out the residential, we could rent out the commercial, or rent it all together. Probably the least hassle is renting it all together. The most money is renting it all separate, unless you find the perfect tenant. And we might already have a tenant for part of it as well. And I'll tell you how that happened too. So there's the garage. Let's go see what the house looks like. You can see it is a little rough on the outside, but it's got some really cool icicles up there, so that's kind of cool. Not many gutters, but it does have some gutters. So this property was listed for sale about 6 months ago for $320,000. Here's the only bathroom. One downside, there's only one bathroom in the whole place right now. They lowered the price to $280,000 a few months later. And that's kind of when I looked at it. I saw it, I'm like, hey, commercial property. I like commercial properties, obviously, if you follow my channel at all. We bought 17 or 18 commercial properties the last 4 years, something like that. And then the other intriguing thing is it's got multiple uses, residential and commercial. So that's kind of nice. Like, it can be harder to finance mixed use properties like that. Banks don't like to finance them, but commercial tenants can be great if you find them, but it can take a while to find those commercial tenants. So it's kind of nice to have one that has residential in it too, because it's so much easier to rent a residential apartment than a commercial apartment. So while you're trying to get the commercial rented, you can have the residential rented and bring in some income. You're not just totally vacant the whole time. So mixed use can be nice for that factor, but it can be more difficult to rent, or to finance, I should say, than a traditional commercial or traditional residential. So when it was listed for $280, we saw it. We told them we were interested, but not at that price. They said they would be willing to look at an offer, and I think we offered them $200,000 for it. They said that was too low. I think they said they'd go down to $225,000, and I thought, no, even though it probably would have been worth it at that price, it needs some work, a lot of risk on this property. I'm not quite going to go that low. And so they said, okay, well, reach back out to us in a couple months, and maybe we'll revisit it at that point. So that's what we did. It's been a couple months, and the market in Colorado has gotten crazy, more and more and more expensive. So I was looking at back, I've been trying to find deals. It's been tough to find deals, and I thought about this probably like, hey, even if we got this at $225,000, it'd probably make sense. Now that the market has gone up so much, let's go talk to them. Let's see what they say. So we said, hey, our offer of $200,000 still stands. Would you consider that? And they said, no, but we'll do $210,000 now. And so we said, okay, let's do the deal. Let's do $210,000. So we got it under contract, bought it for $210,000 when it's listed for $280,000. So I know a lot of people are saying it's impossible to get good deals right now. The market's too crazy. You can't ever even get at list price, let alone below list price. Well, we just bought a property for $70,000 less than list price, which is a pretty good deal. It's at 25% below list price. Now, it's not your typical house in a suburban neighborhood, so sometimes you have to be more creative, look for different ways to find those deals than just, finding the nice, pretty houses that everybody else wants. One downside to this residential unit, I've been talking about a lot about the deal, but it's got one bedroom on the main floor, the kitchen, the living room, the bathroom. We've got these stairs. They're really, really, really deep. Steep, not deep. Kind of deep. But it's not very good for rental. So I'm not sure how we'll fix that, but I would really like to change the staircase if we can. And then once you get up here, this is something they did in old houses all the time. You've got your bedrooms upstairs, but no bathroom upstairs. So 2 bedrooms with no bathroom up here. But one thing that's very interesting to me, and we'll see how well you can see in here, is this. And you can see where one of the additions was done in here. And that is the old roof of the commercial place. And so obviously this upstairs was added over that. So my thoughts are, if we can do it affordably, what if we take that old roof out and add more bedrooms or maybe a bathroom or the better stairs over here and see if that'll work. Now the tricky part with that is you can see the roof is at a different level than the floor. So we would have to add stairs going up again, or change the roof layout in the other side, which we'll show you here shortly what that looks like. So it's not just a simple, hey, we'll just take this roof out and it'll be perfect. It'll be a little more work than that. So here's the other bedroom, which is much bigger, much nicer. Well, I don't know if I'd say nicer, it's much bigger. The part that is not much nicer is the ceiling right here, which you can see old plaster that's coming off, so we'll have to do some work on that for sure. But it's not in horrible shape. A lot of the windows are newer. These doors are old but not in horrible shape. So it's not like it needs a total gut job and complete redo. So if there was a way to make it work with this expanded upstairs, we could add tremendously to the value of the property. Because that's one of the reasons why it wasn't selling, was because, you have this weird layout in this main floor or this residential side of the property. So here's the commercial side right here. So this door shuts, it locks. That's kind of the end of the residential unit. Here's the beginning of the commercial unit, which is kind of cool. These are old hardwood floors, and they're in pretty decent shape. And you can see, like, I don't know if that's a stain wearing through or just a type of wood, but it looks pretty cool with that, like, two-toned kind of look. So I almost think we could just clean these up and not even refinish them, and they would look amazing. The ceiling's got kind of a weird rounded off ceiling. So I don't know if we need that or if it would be better without it, but I don't know what's above it either, right? If we took that down, if there's just nothing or if there's plaster. But they've definitely, I don't know if we can peek up there or not. I don't think I can quite, oh, I see some wood. Is it a wood ceiling? Oh, that'd be interesting. Well, some point I'll have to get up there, or somebody will have to get up there and see what is above that ceiling. So this is the other weird part. Here's your storefront, which we saw from the outside that used to be kind of a grocery store. And they put this weird entry in with this wall here. So obviously we can take this out. No problem whatsoever. We can remove this wall and have one nice big open space because it doesn't make sense to really have that wall there at all. But big space. I think this is 2,000 square feet of commercial, they said. I have to walk it off. It doesn't look that big to me, but there's more in the back. And it's possible they're counting some of the basement. But it's still, even if it's not 2,000 square feet, which I don't think it is here on the main floor, it's still a good size space. And if it was set up better, being right on the highway, it should be like pretty, something commercial tenants would want, right? To be on the highway with a nice big open space. The downside to this space is there's no real bathroom, but look at that. We've got a drain right there. There's water in the basement. There's water here. We could add a bathroom over here pretty quick. So if we did, they might have had a bathroom there before, who knows, rent these out separate, we could add a bathroom here. It wouldn't just be without any bathroom. And yeah, there's some funky electrical stuff that we definitely want to get checked out. I don't even know, that might be the old service. Are they even using that? That might all be disconnected because there is a new panel and stuff over here. So it could be that's all old. And this still needs some work. As you can see, you just have random wires sticking out all over. So I've been trying not to touch those to see what happens. But yeah, we'll just let our electrician see what's going on. Now, some of you may know what this was used for at some point with the crazy installation. That can give you a hint. I think it's some kind of marijuana grow operation, which is perfectly legal if they do it right here in Colorado. You see that once in a while. It doesn't smell like marijuana at all, so I'm not like super worried about it or decreasing the value at all. In the basement, I think we can see more signs of it. We do have a slight roof. The end of the world, and who knows what all that junk is falling down. Old insulation, who knows. All right, so why don't we head down here? Now, a lot of people have been saying, hey, Mark, why don't we hear about murder rooms anymore? Why don't you talk about murder rooms? What's going on? And for those of you who don't know, a lot of times we buy really old houses that have really creepy basements. A lot of them have murder rooms, and that was just a term coined by Nikki, my project manager, for a room where it was very dark, dingy, cobwebby, and it's just very likely that someone had been murdered in that room at some point. Well, we just haven't had any good murder rooms lately. We haven't been buying super old houses, and now we bought a pretty old property which has the potential to have an amazing murder room, and it doesn't. It's actually pretty nice down here, and there are hardly even any cobwebs or anything. There's a few, but for the most part, it's newer, like foundation. It might have been finished at one point. It's not in that bad a shape. So the concrete's not been cracked. So it's kind of a murder room, but not really. So I'm sorry to disappoint. Now there's some water leaking into it. We had a big snowstorm last night, and this might be some of the fans and different stuff they've got going on with They're hydroponics. Sorry, my flashlight hand and my other hand operating the controls. I need 3 hands to do this correctly. But there's some water down here, not a big deal. We can get that fixed. But really, it's not in bad shape at all. So, sorry to disappoint everybody without having the murder room. Although with my weird shadows, I can make it seem more murdery. And this is below the house, so now we're below the house. The basement keeps going into that direction. Again, even over here, it's really not that bad. Even with no lights, there's lights down here, they're just all the bulbs are gone. And me just using my phone flashlight, it's not even that creepy. So, I know, very disappointing. And yes, there is some water down here as well. You see right there. So, we do have some water issues we need to take care of. I don't know if that's a water heater draining or if it's water seeping in from outside. There was a sump pump on the other side of this place, of the basement right over there. And it does have some water in it, so I don't know if that's not working. It could be very a good possibility. So, that's the property. I'm pretty excited. Now, I mentioned before we might have a tenant for it. And so how that happened is I was showing one of my other commercial properties, actually the one I just showed. You'll probably see this, probably last week when you guys see this video. He came to see that property. He liked that property. And while we were showing it, he says, yeah, you know, I was trying to buy a property and it was commercial, it was on the highway, it was perfect, but I just couldn't get financing for it because it's mixed use. And it was this property he was talking about that he tried to buy that we just bought. So I messaged him on Facebook. I'm like, hey, you know that property you're talking about? Yeah, I'm buying that. So he's like, oh, no way. So he's actually really interested in renting. He wanted to rent all of this, but he didn't have enough money to rent the whole thing. So he's thinking about renting the residential side and the garage. And then at some point, if we don't ever get the commercial rented, he wants to rent this too. But so we might have part of this rented already. And then we had another person call another commercial property that just drove by and looked at today and said it's perfect for them. They want to rent that. So hopefully we'll get a lot more of the commercial stuff rented here soon. I'm definitely getting a lot more interest here now than in the middle of coronavirus, that's for sure. So things are looking better. Commercial, love commercial. Even with everything going on, we still had all of our tenants paying rent the whole time. We did have one brewery I bought in the middle of coronavirus where we gave them half month's rent for a couple months because that was the agreement they had with the previous landlord. So we honored that. But really, it's not like the end of the world is ending in commercial real estate or residential real estate. A lot of people are doing just fine and things continue to do business. So, all right, that's the property, but many more updates on this as we get through it. We decide what to do, clean it up a little bit. Maybe we'll do some work on it, add a bathroom, paint the outside, do some work in here. Oh, one thing before I go, I almost forgot. We talked about the roof upstairs and adding the bedrooms. So you can see this raised roof right here. So I think what we were looking at before is this roof is 2 or 3 feet higher than the roof in the residential unit that you can see right here. So when I was saying we have to add stairs or bring this roof down or something, that's what I meant with adding space above here. But you can see we could probably add another bedroom, a bathroom up there if we wanted to. And maybe we lower the ceiling some. Maybe we do something else. I have to talk to my contractors and see how plausible that is and how much it would cost. But that would add a lot of value. I mean, if we could add another bedroom and bathroom and make this place much more easy to rent, I mean, we could be adding $50,000 of value just by doing that. So one other thing I didn't mention too, we bought it for $210,000. I think the residential side as it is could probably rent for $1,300. I think this commercial side could probably rent for like $1,200 to $1,500. I think the garage could rent for $300 to $400 if we all rented them separately. So we could easily bring in $3,000 a month on this property, and we bought for $210,000. And if we did do that, and if it was all rented and stable, it would be a $425,000 property. So that's the potential on some of these commercial and mixed-use properties. Yes, they're harder to buy. Yes, they're harder to finance. But there's some huge potential for profit if you can get past those obstacles, get them all rented, and have stable properties. Because the people who are buying commercial properties typically want a stable, long-term tenant. They don't want to do work, so you can charge a premium for those properties. Okay, now I'm done. All right, thanks for watching. I really appreciate all the likes, shares, comments. Keep those coming. Please like this video. We love to see those. Please check out investormore.com if you want much more information on the details of investing. We have lots of commercial articles, residential articles, all types of information there, as well as books on Amazon if you want really in-depth information. Again, we'll be back with more updates on this and our other properties coming up here soon.